Well, we are two recent Columbia Journalism School grads. Leah is French Lebanese, and I am Italian. But my mom's American. And we started working together on our master's project at Columbia. It was a digital master's project, multimedia, on Jewish Christian families that raise their children in both religions. And we decided that we worked very well together. And at the end of the year, when we were looking for jobs, there was nothing that really stood out to us. So one of our professors recommended that we start our own company, and so that's what we did in September. And we shoot and edit promotional videos and also work on documentaries.
So I'm French Lebanese. I lived in Lebanon for a while, and then I came to Paris to study. I did my undergrad and master's in journalism in Paris, and my school in Paris had a dual degree with Columbia University in New York, so I came for another year of master's. So it was a third-year master there, and before that I was mostly print and radio, and coming to Columbia I discovered video for the web and shooting with DSLRs, and that's also where I met Elettra, so that's how it all happened.
I'm from Florence. I grew up in Florence, and my family was in the film industry. They started the Florence Film Festival, which no longer exists. And from that, my father invented a subtitling system. And so I grew up kind of in that environment, going to a lot of film festivals and surrounded by translators. So I always had a passion for film, but never thought about actually making them until I got to Columbia. So I came actually to the States in 2001 and studied politics and Spanish at Mount Holyoke College. And then I moved to New York in 2005 and started working in the journalism industry. I started with Travel and Leisure, and then moved up within American Express Publishing, working for Departures and Black Ink, which are the magazines for the Platinum and Black cards of American Express. So I got sort of tired of covering the luxury industry exclusively, and the economy wasn't going so well. So that's how I eventually transitioned to Columbia and studied digital media with Leah. And started shooting and loved it. I loved working with the DSLR cameras. Actually, my sister had also been a shooter for reality TV shows, and she had to carry really heavy equipment. So it was kind of it was fun to know that there were other ways of shooting without breaking your back, literally. Although the master's program that Columbia Journalism School offers is a very short program, it's only 10 months long. It's very intensive, and it prepares you to be kind of a one-person band. So they train you extensively on all levels of journalism, from writing to basic coding, photography, videos, which are both, like short kind of newsy pieces as well as longer documentary style pieces. So there's also a really strong community of very talented journalists that teach there and who graduated from there. So you're exposed to so much, like not just in terms of developing skills, but also increasing network and getting advice. there's nothing wrong with teaching yourself to do a documentary or to shoot with a DSLR camera. That's admirable, and it's definitely doable. But there's the kind of comprehensive education that you get from an institution like Columbia is priceless, as well as just the friendships that you form. Our class was so international and very diverse in terms of interests and previous experiences that even just that kind of exposure is an education in itself.
So, the head of the digital media program at Columbia is called Dulin too, and he was also our documentary professor. And he also helped us a lot on our master's project. He was not our main person for that, but he helped us a lot. And at the end of the year, we were both searching for jobs, and the only jobs in the online video field that we could find were very focused on one part of the whole process. It was only researching or only editing. And so I went to his office and I was like, I'm looking for a job and it's kind of depressing me. And he was like, well, why don't you make your own job? Why don't you start your own business and try and see what it's like and give yourself a year to see if you can make it? Because in 10 months, we learned to do everything from pre-reporting to shooting to editing to building websites to host all the packages that we made. And we learned a lot, but you can also, when you learn that fast, you can also forget very fast. So I really wanted to continue practicing and build up on what I had learned at school. And so he basically said, you should take a year to get a master in life. So that's what we've been doing. And he said, why don't you pick someone that you get along with really well and see what it's like? And of course, he knew it was going to be Elettra. And he said, he saw that I was a bit worried because coming from a French school system, the entrepreneurship is not something they really encourage. And so it had never crossed my mind. Like I never thought that right after school I could go on my own and do my own things. Like it's something that you do later in life. And it was just too big and it almost sounded preposterous, like for me to think that. So, but he's the one who mentioned it, and then we embraced it. And he said that he would help us, and he has been helping us a lot because we keep going back to school and we meet with him, and he discusses he helps us brainstorm ideas and strategize and all that, and he's the one who pushes us forward into he really challenges ourselves in the way that we organize a launch party to make people aware of the company and tell them what we were doing and everything. And we told him about it, and he was like, well, you know that you cannot have a launch party without having a screening, right? You're a production company. And it was 2 weeks before the party, and I'm like, yes, but we've been researching and reporting a lot, but we don't have something to show. And he's like, well, you have 2 weeks, just do it. And we had kind of been frozen, like in expectation of what was gonna be our first project, because of course you want your first project to be absolutely perfect and grand, but it's really a matter of just doing it. And so he was right, and we just did it in 2 weeks. And it was a short video. It was like almost 4 minutes, and it was an introduction to the bigger project, the bigger documentary project we're working on now. But it was great. It was a hit, and it really got us started to actually do stuff and not just research. And all that. So he's been really pushing us, and he's been really there for us in every single way. So it's been tremendous. But he's not the only one, though. We have a couple of other people at Columbia that are really behind us. So it's been a great, great community.
Basically, we're following a story about the Garifuna community, and we hope to go to the island of St. Vincent this summer, and we're looking for grants right now. my undergrad alma mater, Mount Holyoke, offers a grant, so we just applied for funding there. And there are other grants for women filmmakers that we're also applying to. So we hope to get the funding. It's just a matter of time management and trying to get everything done, working on the story and on these other corporate gigs, and searching for the right funding and the one that we could most likely get for this particular project. So
yeah, I guess the advice would be to break it down. So we're not trying to get funding for the whole thing. We're first trying to get funding for the trip, and then we'll start looking for funding for the post-production. And the other thing is that there are so many grants out there. I think it's a matter of strategizing and really identifying the one that you qualify the best for, because it takes a lot of time to apply for grants. And you also have to ask for recommendation letters, and you can't, we don't want to ask like 7 times. So we're trying to be very smart about the choices we make.
Actually, a friend of ours just received funding from Kickstarter, and we think it's a really great tool to help spread the word and help raise funds. But you have to make sure that the amount that you're asking for is actually achieved in order to get the funding. Like, if you don't achieve that number, you don't get any of the funding. So it goes back to trying to be strategic about it, and launching the Kickstarter campaign at the right moment of the project. So as soon as there's the project is more clear in terms of where the story is going, I think we'll probably end up going that route as well. We're best friends, and we've been pretty much best friends since we met, more or less. And we survived working on our master's project together without a fight. And it's still true. We never fight. And we disagree a lot of times. We have different points of views, but we have respect for each other, and we are both mature emotionally. So, if there's some kind of difference in opinion, we just talk about it, and sometimes sleep on it, and then just work it out. And I think that the communication strategy has worked very well for us. Having a sense of humor throughout the day, and just in the stressful moments, and even in the serious moments, it keeps our spirits alive and our creativity alive, and just having that kind of positive energy is also very helpful to the work process. So, we're very lucky to have this working relationship and this friendship. And we know it's very rare, and we're not sure, how it happened. It was just very organic, and I think Granny Cart is really, has launched in a very strong way. We've only existed since September, and we already have a lot of work. Too much, almost.
Never too much.
Never too much.
Bring it on.
It's, that we would love to even start expanding if we had the financial possibility. And I think a lot of it is thanks to the people that we are, and the friendship that we have. And we have very similar skill sets because of the Columbia Journalism Program, and because of just our passion for journalism and filmmaking. So that's very helpful. But we also have different strengths and weaknesses, and different perspectives and backgrounds. So all of that, brings a lot to the table. And
that idea was suggested to me, and I thought it was very true, that the reason why it works so well, even if we disagree sometimes, is that there is no pride between us whatsoever. Like whatever we have to say, we'll say it, and I already know that she will never take it the wrong way because she knows it's coming from a good place. So as long as that's established, I think you can talk about absolutely anything. And the other thing is that it's great to work with someone and not on your own. Because right now, so far, we've been lucky in the way that whenever one of us is having a little crisis, getting nervous or stressed or terrified about something, it has never happened that we've freaked out together. So there's always the other one to help the one who's having a hard time explain and try to find a way around it and just calm down and be a support for the other. So that's been really great because it would have been tough going through all this stress, because it is really stressful to have your own business. Going through it all on my own would not have been possible. That I know for sure. So very grateful.
You know, we're very blessed to be able to be in New York City and to have started our company here, because it's there are not many places where young women can start their own companies and have the support and opportunities that we have found here. So part of it is because, you know, people, for example, in Italy, or probably even in France, you know, a young woman is often objectified and not really taken seriously as not in France. Anyway, in Italy, it would be like that, and also the bureaucratic headaches would be too much, and just, you know, for being women and for being young, I think and for filmmaking, just New York City has been an incredible place for all of that to come true.
No, yeah, we don't have the time struggle because we don't have boyfriends. And I think that at this point of our lives this year, it happened by chance. I wouldn't have required her to break up if she was in a relationship. But I think it's very, it's very fortuitous that we're both single because we can allot all our time to this
Granny
project.
part.
Yeah, the granny. I honestly, like, I was not very conscious. I was very conscious of the fact that we're young. Uh, Again, coming from France, being young and entrepreneurs, usually, I never knew about people who did that. So for me, that was something I was very conscious about. But being woman was not something I was conscious of until people kept mentioning it. Every time we're like, oh, I'm working with her and we launch our own business, and everybody's like, oh my God, that's great. You're women and you're young. But I honestly hadn't, I know it makes an impact and it's great because people remember us, but I didn't see it coming. I don't know if you feel the same.
I, coming from, you know, a background, like my family are entrepreneurs. So I kind of knew about how difficult that was. And the fact that we're women, I understood the importance of, you know, of women believing in their careers and in pursuing their dreams, thanks to Mount Holyoke, which is an all-women's college. So there's a lot of support for female careers and projects. But actually doing it and being reminded all the time of how rare that is and special, and just, yeah, seeing people surprised by it is strange. And you know, I actually don't see anything strange about, like, doesn't feel strange to be a young female entrepreneur or exceptional. It just feels very right. And I think that every young woman should feel that way if that's what their, you know, dream is. And I think the most important thing is just to follow your dreams and ambitions without being scared of the labels that have been placed or of the doubts that people have. And that's also true about young male entrepreneurs. A lot of young male friends that I have would be too scared to go out and start their own company. So I think it can be a gender issue, but it's also true with this economy that every young person is scared of their, what their career will be, and the ladder is not clear anymore, especially in journalism. And with the internet, so much is changing that it's very hard to find jobs that are well suited for our skill sets. So really what makes sense today is to start your own project and to venture out and have the courage to do that, because even though at the beginning there are financial struggles, I think if you're doing something that you're passionate about, there will be success. And if that specific company that you start is not successful, start another one or find a partner to do it, or find venture capitalists, or find financing. I think everything is possible, and mostly like that's it. For me, it's more shocking that more people are not starting their own companies. And I think that that's really, it's a lot of fun, and as long as your work is something that makes you happy, you're going to be producing good stuff.
I just wanted to add to that we're very, very lucky because our parents right now, full disclosure, of course, are supporting us for the first year. And I know that not everyone has that chance, and we're very grateful for that, and we know the value of it. And without their support, we could not be able to try that. And to be able, like, it's a luxury. I'm conscious that it's a luxury to have a year to try something. And because it's a very precious gift, we're trying to make the most out of it and to honor that big gift that has been given to us. So I know that not everybody has that chance also.
But I think
it's not only a matter of dreams and courage, it's also a matter of means. You have to say it.
Right, but also there are ways of starting a company without having financial support.
Of course.
And my family didn't have financial support at the beginning, and they were able to do it. And especially if you're doing digital work where all you need is a laptop and internet access, you can live at your parents', or you can, exchange, work, I don't know, bartend or something on the side. I think that if there is pure ambition and you are a smart, talented person, I think, there are different degrees of how difficult it can be. And we're definitely blessed to have financial help, but I think that there are ways to pursue dreams, and it's just a matter of getting creative, and maybe the first year will seem like it's impossible, but I've heard many stories that started from nothing, and eating ramen noodles for 6 months, and I think it just takes patience